Okay, Frostgrave, the Wizard-Eyed, the art of Frostgrave is a new art book, collection of artwork from the core Frostgrave book and all the expansions from first edition all the way to second edition, where Rumor started doing the art instead of the Burmax. So this book contains the art from the core books, the expansions, the front covers of the novels, and yeah, everything official from artwork. The book is huge. You know, here is the second edition rulebook, a standard rulebook size from Osprey's hardbacks, next to the artbook. It's ginormous and lots of pages. I've already written a review of the book, and it's in the chat. Osprey was kind enough to send me a PDF version of the book that I've been looking through to write my review. And then Friday when I got home, this had arrived in the mail. So yay, that's awesome. So let's just flip through it. Any questions? Drop in the chat. We'll go over it. Have a cup of coffee. And after that, I'm going to look at some of my terrain. All right, so ginormous. Wizard Eye, the Eye of Frostgrave. Table of Contents. Short introduction by Joseph McCullough, and I think both of the Burmax have written a comment as well. Yeah, Dimitri and Kate. And then it just goes over the rulebook, the different expansion packs, the novels, and finally, I don't know what and finally is going to be. We'll see. The introduction, nice words from Joseph about how he worked with Dimitri and later Kate, sending ideas. They were real happy that they got, you know, steady work through a lot of years. Because normally they are commissioned for a couple of pieces of artwork, and since Frostgrave was such a success, they kept getting asked for more artwork for all the expansions, so good for them. Right. Front cover, the rule book. So all these pieces here in this book, they'll go over like the front cover of the first edition. There's words from Joseph. The iconic image of the game, since it features on the cover of the main rulebook. For me, that designation belongs to another piece. One thing I find amusing about this scene is that the Elementalist is floating above ground, even though there are no spells or magic item that allows this in the game. This is my fault. I asked Dimitri to set the scene this way, but never thought about it again until writing this. Maybe the Thaumaturge apprentice is just out of a shot casting push from a lower elevation. And then there are words from either Dimitri or Kate throughout the book where they're talking about the pieces. You know, one of the most exciting parts of working on Frostgrave was the opportunity to paint the cover. I had been an illustrator for several years and drawn numerous characters and interior shots for fantasy books, but I'd always wanted to draw covers. Frostgrave was my first chance. To help with the composition, I made my own Thaumaturge outfit using anything I could find at home. A hoodie, bathrobe, even my wife's old skirt, a broomstick, become my wizard staff. Posing for an illustration is always the funniest part of the job. And all the way through the book we'll have the full color, full page artwork, concept sketches, the painting before effects has been added, and there's just a lot. A lot of the pieces here, I've seen them countless times because I've played a lot of Frostgrave, flipping through the rulebook, and when I get a new book, I get it, I read it, cover to cover, stop up, look at the pictures, look at the art, go wow. But I obviously don't spend enough time looking at the art. I've seen this picture a ton of times. The enchanter on the top of a ruined building fighting off this undead horde, the large construct in the background. I've never once noticed the Necromancer in the background, magic from his hands, summoning the skeletons and zombies. Black and white sketch, a close-up of the Necromancer, and more words. We can't go over all these. We'll just flip through and look some at all the cool art. The sig list, it says something about Joseph's inspiration for the different wizard schools, and basically he gave it all up to Dimitri and Kate. Wrote a couple of lines of concept for them to adhere to, and then just whatever they come up with. This is another example. I mentioned this in my review as well. This lovely piece. This is the front of the grimoire. I can't remember where the photo is from the start, but the witch character, and I've played a witch all through first edition, is here in the background, summoning all kinds of animals, or just spooking out some bats. Never once noticed him in the background. Let's see where it's from. The library scenario in the main rulebook. So I've sold my first edition rulebook, so we can't go back and look over it. This piece, and there's all kinds of funny, what's it called? Anecdotes, small stories. Like a lot of people have been thinking that, or discussing whether Frostgrave is all humans, or there are other races like dwarves and elves. And obviously you can play whatever you want. It's your game and it's your miniatures, and they all use the same stat line. But it's been up numerous times. Are there dwarves or elves, or should there be other kinds of stats? And this piece here explains some of it, that a lot of people have thought that the summoner or the model was sculpted rather large, and Dimitri was thinking him rather short, and summoning big demons to make that distinction, because he was a little guy summoning big demons, and then the model turned out completely different. The witch, one of my favorite characters and models from first edition. When I first tried the game, a friend brought it over at a Christmas gathering, and we tried the game and just flipped through the rulebook, and I was stunned by the witch. He is so cool, having traveled from someplace far away to the frozen city to get a hold of those old magic secrets. Such a great character, and it just expands a lot on the fluff that's not really there. I mean, it's a broken city, there's not a lot of fluff pieces, but there's a lot to take from the artwork. The Necromancer, pretty standard evil Necromancer, but he was on the front cover of the stories from the Frozen City artwork here on the stone. That reminds me of dwarf work. Thaumaturge and Elementalists. I don't even recall this photo from the book. This one I do remember. Elementalist. Badass. Illusionists. I haven't played Illusionists. They have rather boring spells, I think. Chronomancer. Chronomancer was a summoner. I do like, it's one of the things that I've loved about first edition and all the expansion packs, that the wizards has been used again and again and again, and though there are no words written about them, just the same characters being used, they get kind of a personality. We've seen them in a lot of adventures, and I love the cover of the Wizards Conclave, the expansion pack, where all these different game authors has contributed with the scenarios. I say again, there's no dwarves in the system. This is a regular sized height human, but he's rather broad, and the large golem is just huge. But we see some of the mages again and again. Thaumaturge, that's my new wizard. I'm playing a Thaumaturge in the new edition, and I've actually found a model that resembles him quite a bit, an old Warhammer model. Let's see if we can get this camera to get sharp on him. The orb on the staff, the beard, even the hood. That's quite funny, because it's not by design. That must be my subconscious. I haven't looked at this mage thinking, that's my thaumaturge, and combined him with him. Fate. So he's going to do well in the Frozen City. Illusionist versus Soothsayer, Thor of the Lich Lord. That was an amazing expansion. We played through all of it. It's just a cool story. Cool to play 10 scenarios with a story progressing. The cultists look kind of sad, you know, with the hoods. Rangifiers. Oh, I love rangifiers. I built one as well for the scenario. I was lucky enough to get the spell book where you can, the book of the rangifier, where you can get a rangifier in your warband. One of my favorite soldiers. I, as many others, would love to see a plastic box set of rangifiers. That would be so cool. The metal model was terrible in terms of getting it to stick together, so I made my own. I converted my own. Let's see if we can find him here. Here he is. I converted an old Beastman Model from Games Workshop. Gave him antlers from a 40k Plague Marine and a cloak. He was always in my warband from the minute I got the book. I think he died a couple of times and had to be rebought. The Ghoul King. I hate ghouls. They are the worst kind of undeads. They really are. Soldiers. Pretty fitting for the description in the novels. I wrote both the novels from Matt Ward. I enjoy them. Light fantasy, an easy read. But they're all gnarled veterans, you know. Either you die quickly or you become a veteran in the Frozen City. Thaumaturge in the background. It's a huge book, and taking your time looking through this, looking at all the pictures, illusionist versus ghouls, there are so many stories to be told if you take your time and just appreciate the art. I've never once stopped to actually look at an illustration like this, with the illusion of this big summoned fire demon light monster scaring away all the ghouls, climbing away in fear. I haven't read all the little snippets, and I'm really looking forward to reading all of these thoughts about the book. I've just flipped through it, looked at the pictures, read some of the pieces, and it's a great source of inspiration. The Chronomancer up here, finding, who is that, the Necromancer on the frozen river. That was a cool scenario. Had to make a few boats to play through it, or just some small huts. Cultists. Front cover of the cultist box as well. Lovely guys. I never got around to painting all of the cultists, but I have the warband, and I'm going to paint them up for a 3-player campaign we're going to start, that I've just been building terrain from, and I'm going to play a Necromancer or Summoner on that one. I think it's going to be a Necromancer. I'm going to paint up my cultists for that. Wraith Knight. Such a cool model, such a cool miniature. Lovely that they have a role to play in Rangers of Shadowdeep as well as Shadow Knights. I know there's a miniature for that, but these guys are just so cool. We used Hero Quest models for these. Into the Breeding Pits. This is an expansion I haven't played at all, and I'm looking forward to doing it because I'm so close to being finished with my 3-dimensional dungeon board. So it's going to be good. More modeling done. For the shot, must be the Summoner, I think. I love the gnolls. I've painted up all my gnolls. Tunnel Fighter, never used him. Didn't play enough in the... never had enough gold coins. I mean, despite playing 13 games with my witch, they never had enough money to fill out all the roles with specialist because people kept dying. So, never got around to getting a Tunnel Fighter. Gnolls. They're just cool. Such a good beast. Two-headed troll. Haven't painted one up yet. I have one in a box because we never rolled it. Soothsayer versus Hydra. Into the Breeding Pits is a nice expansion. I really want to get some of the Beastcrafter spells. That would be a cool upgrade to one of your mages, the Beastcrafters. But you really need a dungeon to take full advantage of it, because there are all the rules for playing underground. Trap Expert, never used him either. Elementalist versus Devourer. Is this the Elementalist? It's not the regular one. I'll be using Mantic Games Nameless. They have these big crab monsters. I have 3 or 4 of those, so I'm going to use those as Devourers when we get around to playing the missions from Into the Breeding Pit. They just look cool. Poor dudes. Having left. Forgotten Pacts. This is the one we're going to start on Friday. The next campaign we're going to play, we're going to start Forgotten Pacts, killing barbarians and demons. So, well thought of me to pick the Thaumaturge. I haven't painted my barbarians yet. I've built a lot of them. I've converted my own. I can't remember his name. That character on the Rhino, but I'm going to switch out the model with one from Kings of War Vanguard. There are some Norsemen riding rhinos there as well. Barbarians are cool in Frostgrave. The Barbarian kit is awesome. And the Mystic Brands spell, where you can paint magic tattoos on the characters, it's pretty cool in the game. Though it's missing from the treasure list, so you can't really obtain it. I've made my own list, it's on the blog, where I've put all the spells from all the expansions into one long list, and you roll a die, you take a random number between 1 and 100 and 127, or how many spells there is, no matter. So every time you find a grimoire we play, that you can find any spell from any of the expansions. The Demon Hunter, that's a cool character. That's a part of my warbands always. I've been using a Witcher model for my Demon Hunter, just strapped a crossbow on Geralt's back. And Branax. Looking forward to building this guy. I have some Games Workshop Warboar heads and a big Reaper Bones Gorilla miniature that I'm going to try and hot water bend into this meditation pose, and then green stuff the boar heads onto his body. It's going to be a fun conversion, making that model, using him in a single game if the demon is summoned, and then put him in the closet forever, like so many other. The assassin was rather cool. Poisonous blades are deadly, wounding people, bringing them down to 1 action point. Monk, never used it. More barbarians. It's just a cool photo. And that's really the essence of the this expansion pack's Forgotten Pacts. It's described that there is a barbarian invasion going on of the frozen city. Mystic Warrior. I've never really been one for Mystic Warriors or monks in D&D, fighting with bare hands. So this guy, Caesarean, what he's called, big Centipede Demon. I have no idea how I'm going to build this guy. It's going to take some green stuff work, I think, making this ginormous centipede body. For those smaller guys, they must be around here somewhere. Yeah, those barbarians, I've just been using toy centipedes on old Games Workshop Marauder bodies, but this guy, he needs to be big. The folio. Just look at the amount of detail here on a door. And on the small expansion pack book, that's like half the size of this page, I don't stop to appreciate the details. So many details in such a little piece. I love the sick list. It's just cool. Alright, lots of people watching. Thanks for joining the chat. Please drop any questions, or if we need to flip back and find a specific piece of artwork from a specific expansion, let me know and we'll just flip back and forth. Necromancer and Apprentice, worth us a lot of, they're pretty much harpies, you know, the monster style harpies. I need to find some harpies. I have 5 harpies coming from the Blacklist Fantasy 1 Kickstarter that completed. They should be here soonish, and because I need harpies for Oathmark. A small regiment of harpies. Flyers are cool in Oathmark. Huge golem from the Hunt for the Golem campaign. I'd like to play through that at some point. Cultist Captain. Captains are good. Perhaps. They're good in solo play. Nullmen. I want to play through the Dark Alchemy campaign at some point, and I have an idea for making Nullmen based on this one. I'm going to buy metal armatures for greensculpt sculpting from Greenstuff World. That you can buy a 28mm or a 32mm metal armatures. So I'm just going to buy those and drill some holes in the blank face for the eyes, and just give him a white undercoat and then a blue wash, and try to see if I can get somewhere near this. Completely blank, no features. I think it'll work for that one scenario. Dark Alchemy. Oh, they're having a bad day. But the Snow Troll is having a party. Another one of these pieces. Let's just try and read this one. So, Joseph McCullough. I'm pretty sure this is the only Frostgrave artwork to show the inside of a wizard's base. I think it captures the flavor perfectly. Inside, it's all rather cozy and neatly arranged, but of course, there is a horrible snow troll trying to break through the door. The convenient location comes with some drawbacks. Kate Burmack did this one. This is the first picture Dimitri and I worked on together, and it's still my favorite among all the pieces. It was just fun to draw. We wanted to convey all the emotions of the different characters, as well as capture the tension and even a bit of comedy in the scene. Well, mission accomplished, yeah. It's a good piece, and that's what I'm looking forward to with the next Oathmark expansions, and the next. So, Frostgrave 2nd edition. All new artwork, all through the book. Lovely pieces. Great stuff. All the Frostgrave expansions, so much new artwork all the time. And I haven't played Dark Alchemy. I've read through it. I've read through the expansion, and then it's just sitting on my bookshelf with a ton of other expansions. And I'm not going to pick it up before I'm going to play it, or roll on the potion table that is now in the 2nd edition book. So I was never going to see this photo again if it wasn't for a book like this. And that's pretty cool. So I'm putting this one on my bedside table next to all the Tales from the Loop picture books. These guys, I'm gonna do the fire flingers in the same style as my Ballista golems and my medium construct. That's all based on old Chaos Warriors, the ones with the head straight out from the torso. Foul horns. The Maze of Melkor, that's going to be a good campaign to play through as well. I'm also going to need my dungeon board for that, for the inside of the magical school. This is another reason why I made the list of all the spells together, because you are not going to find the distortionist spells, and I'm not going to play one of these specialist mages. So I've put all the spells from the Pentacle schools into that list, so you can still find all these weird extra spells, all the reaction spells from Into the Breeding Pig, the counter spells, glass spiders, spooky little constructs, elementalist versus illusionists. I have so much dungeon clutter to paint up, but that's cool. The gondolas, that's a nice idea. The sky gondolas. There's some on Thingiverse I've seen, so you can print some for this one scenario. Or GT Combat makes gondolas for their what's it called? The Venedig game, Venice game. Chronomancer, kind of Harry Potter. There with the glasses. Glad they skipped those. Fate Caster, Spiritualists. These schools were cool. And these constructs are great, and I want to do some at some point. I have sufficient Magic Games terrain crate pieces to do some constructs that are actually all... Beauty and the Beast, you know? Like that. Constructs, animatronics, that's also not just... The ones I have now, they're just robots, but build some that's more than robots, that's actually serving some kind of function. The Aviary. The only scenario in the entire Frostgrave range of books and expansions that says in the description that you need green terrain. You need fresh green trees preserved in this magic aviary. It's like a jungle. That's going to be a cool scenario to play sometime in a distant future. But I have the Ghost Archipelago terrain, so mixing that is going to be cool. Astromancer Malcolm, he's just evil looking wizard with the other ghosts around him here. Completely different way to draw or paint a wizard. There's not much wizard about this guy. He just looks like a typical evil fighter overlord. He's a bad dude. The wizard's complete. Here, that's the cover. It's so cool. Soothsayer, Necromancer, Sigilist, Enchanter, Witch on the same cover of the expansion. Nice stuff. I just read through this yesterday to see if I could find a good scenario for Friday in case I didn't have time to paint up barbarians. But it's like every single one of the authors that contributed with scenarios for this book, they all made all kinds of rules for different specific stuff that you need. So I'm not going to make that in time. The Cult of 1,000 Eyes. Female soldiers. I like the kit. They're a bit on the tiny side, the miniatures. Would have liked them a bit bulkier. Slaughter construct. Perilous Dark. That one I'm playing through, and as soon as I'm finished with painting the next 2 dungeon boards, I can continue with the campaign, because that takes place on the inside with my dwarf warband. I'm going to play through Perilous Dark, and I have all the miniatures and the models painted up for the first couple of scenarios. This here is the guy that I'm using as that specialist Null. My first Nullso miniatures. I do like them. I do like the sculpts, but the paint doesn't stick very well. So the weapon shop, my Ballista 2 constructs is inspired by this one, and pretty much looks the part. Let's see if I can see him here. Where is he? There we go. I've made them from these old Chaos Warriors with a crossbow on the arm. Added a bunch of gears here and there. The elbow, exhaust pipe on the back. Gears there on the quiver, on the crossbow. And I made my regular medium golem in the same style as this one. I'm gonna make the fire flingers like that as well. Magmites, I've bought some Reaper Bones, Hellhounds for those. And these are going to be featured in the Frostgrave as well, I think. As some, I'm gonna do neutral bases on them, so they can be magma planet evil monsters as well. And the Red King, we know the Red King is basically going to bring hell into Frostgrave with fiery lava flame pieces. Joseph told us that in a talk we did with him, so might as well get some fire monsters done. The pack, oh, big werewolf there, ready to jump this guy. Can't remember. Yeah, that's a scenario as well. Looking forward to playing that. The lair, just ordered some more spiders, or some spiders from Wargames Atlantic, to get some that are a bit bigger than the ones I have. Wizards. So, nearly through here. Banner Lurker. Vapor Snakes. Weird model to make. I just made something that can fit as other things. The novels. Lovely books, easy reads. That Court of Crows guy, he was pretty cool. Second Chances, both gold. And finally, the last piece ever painted for Frostgrave. So, Wizard Eye. Should you get a book like this? Well, if you have the cash and you enjoy Frostgrave, you should get it. Ton of inspiration. It's a good break. Take it down, look through it, and you will be able to find new stuff time and time again, because there is so much art and so many details to look through. I think it's a great book and a great way to appreciate the work that Dimitri and Kate have done for the Frostgrave and fleshing out this setting that there are so many players that love. The visuals and the style of the game, and Joseph McCullough says so in the introduction as well. I get all the thanks because my name is on the cover, but it's really a team effort from all the guys. So it's a nice book. I'm glad that they sent it to me, Osprey, and if they hadn't, I would have bought it myself. I pretty much buy anything that says Frostgrave on the cover anyway. Thanks for watching this flip through of the Wizard Eye, Frostgrave, the art of Frostgrave. That concludes the preview, review / of this book. If you want more words, go to the blog. I've made a written review of the book as well. I'll put a link in the